A notification. There we go. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have two magnificent guests with us today who are going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Shayk Khalid Yasin, and his daughter, the lovely Sister Amina Haqq. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, sir. And thank you all for watching. This is legendary right now. Father-daughter duo on the People's Podcast. So thank you very much. The first question that we want to have for you, sir, is we've known with Amina Haqq watched me and my siblings grow up and was very close with my mother. But what was it like for you to have her as a daughter? What was she like?
Um, it's uh, it's an honor. That's what I can say.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
when Allah gives us children, family members who embrace the same principles and represent the same principles and in their own generation and under their own set of struggles, uh, you see them struggling, striving. So I mean, for me, I'm just grateful.
Excellent, alhamdulillah. And for you, Sister Amina, what was it like? Um, what was it like having Brother Shayk Khalid Yasin as a father? What was that like?
You know, what makes you, myself, and so many other young people whose parents were laborers have so much in common is the fact that my father was always famous.
Mm,
And so everywhere we went, he was legendary. And growing up, I was just proud. As a little girl, of course, naturally, I may have wanted to spend more time with him, but the stories that people told kind of filled me too.
mm.
Because everywhere I went, oh, that's Shayk Khalid Yasin's daughter. And everywhere I went, oh, that's the Imam's daughter. And oh, let me tell you about your father. So I learned from my father from thousands of people. I don't care where I am in the world. And I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I met some Muslims, and they said when we started conversing, and they were telling me about this person that was so influential to them, and I said, "That's my Abu." No, and so this is just the child of a legendary believer. It's beautiful. Allahu Akbar.
Yes, wow, wow, wow. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay, and speaking of your work with bringing so many people to the faith and teaching Islam uh, in North America and all around the world, sir, what advice do you give to the young generation about the value of the Sunnah?
Alhamdulillah, this is a very important question, and I'm going to try to answer it in the most concise way that I can. First of all, I would say to young people, read, um, digest, reflect, and be about the deen from the sources that's available.
Mm,
When we became Muslims, 1965 up to say like 1985, those was kind of like the learning years.
mm, mm,
1965 to 1985, and we didn't have many resources. We had to take whoever came from somewhere, a Muslim country, and they were fairly reputable. We had to learn from them. We had to learn from them, and also we had to take their cultural baggage, not knowing that it was cultural baggage. We had to learn from whatever we could read, and there was no internet at that time. So it
mm,
wasn't
mm.
like nobody could just, you couldn't go online and just click a button and get information that you wanted. It wasn't like that. You had to travel, you had to go somewhere, you had to go to a library, you had to read through a whole lot of stuff. But now, by the grace of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowledge is available to everybody, no matter where they are. the good information, the bad information. It's all available. Nobody has to go across the street for it. So for me, what I can say to young people is that one, the most important thing I would say is stabilize yourself in a community that provides you with good information, good 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 guidance, and good leadership. Just find an umbrella of leadership, and there's plenty out there now. You know, it may not be, it may not be, it may not be have all the wholesomeness, may not have all the things that you, but seek out wholesome leadership. That's one. And then inside that leadership, attach yourself to that congregation or that community so that you become anchored. Because if you're not anchored, that means you go to sleep, you don't know where you're gonna wake up at. You
Mm.
just go to sleep for a moment in life. You don't know where you're gonna wake up at. But if you're anchored in a community, and nowadays it's not important. It's not so important as to the nomenclature before the community. You know, before in our time, it was always important to us. You know, what community. You know, who you following. And now it doesn't matter. You don't need that. You know, that's later on we can talk about that. But as long as you are anchored inside a community under a leadership where you are a beneficiary of a group of Muslims who themselves are observing the principles of Islam. Now, you can move around and see who's the most progressive, who's the most productive, who's the most reputable, who has the best knowledge, you know, where the most benefits are. And that's just human to do that. But other than that, anchor yourself with good leadership in a community of Muslims. Attach yourself by reading, reviewing, and implementing the Islamic sources in your life. And you don't need you don't need no big leader, no big community to anchor yourself in good information because the information is there. Whoever goes to the ocean, you know, they can either swim, they can stay on the sand, or they can surf if they are capable. But it's all ocean. And
Yes, sir.
so saying that young people of your generation, and you're below my daughter's generation, I say to all young people, first, use the technology the right way and make sure that you got a good diet in the deen. That's one. Wow. Make sure you got a good diet in the deen. And one of the ways that you can know that you have a good diet is that you are part of a congregation of believers and you are not swimming against the stream. Wow. If you were a community of believers and you swimming the same way they swimming, you experiencing what they're experiencing, you under leadership and accountability, and you got decent Islamic knowledge, well, those are the first three things. Now, the other thing that doesn't come just because of leadership, it doesn't come because you have good knowledge or you belong to a good group of people, is called incentive. Mm. So if you don't have the incentive to do better, better than you were born, better than what's around you, better than your friends, better than those who generally you even flow with, that the incentive comes from the desire to excel. Now, everybody doesn't have the desire to excel. Some people is good enough if they just inside playing field. Some people just go to the stadium and they take a seat and they feel like they in. They be saying my team, they be saying my player, you know, they be saying my sport, my this, but they don't own nothing. What we want to do is we want to be a part of something. We want to have a leadership, but at the same token, we want to individually excel. Now, if you individually excel, then by default, you become the top shelf, you become the go-to people in America. Everybody who excels become the go-to people. And that's what we want to be as a Muslim. I want to be a go-to guy, a go-to girl. I want to be a go-to person. That means that when people need something, when people be thinking or searching for something, that is good, that is profound, we want to be the people that they think about. And they don't have to think about the religion, just think about what we represent. We follow in the religion. Everybody don't have to follow religion. All they got to do is follow us. And if we got products and services, because America and the world is built on products and services.
Yes, sir.
I don't mean the ones you find in Walmart or the ones you find out in Home Depot or the one you find out on Amazon. No, no, no. We're talking about products and services that fit inside the heart and fit inside the mind. You can't get that at Amazon. You can't get that at Walmart. But so we have to be people that's representing dynamism. If you are dynamic, if you are successful, if you are profound, if you are unique, if you are productive, you are progressive, you are resourceful, you are sought after, and people will follow you. And if you happen to be a Muslim, your name is Aisha or Amina or Dawood or Muhammad or Mustafa, that just goes with the profile. But if you Muhammad and Mustafa and Fatima and Aisha, and you still dependent upon other people, you waiting, looking for a job from somebody else, you looking for an inspiration from somebody else, that means probably you didn't read the Quran very well. Maybe you don't really know who the Prophet Muhammad is. Maybe you don't even know who your national leader is. Maybe you just following behind people's names and all that there. And once you move out of their shadow, you lost. No, as a Muslim, we ain't in nobody's shadow because Allah ain't got no shadow. And we ain't in the shadow of the Prophet Muhammad. We just following his siwak. And we ain't in the shadow of no profound leaders. But we part of their constituency. We pray for them.
Yes,
we follow, we refer to them. Somebody asked them, who's your leader? I said, listen, I'm following all the leaders who is righteous people. That means wherever I land, if I jump out the plane, I land anywhere, I'm following the leader that's in that zip code right there. I ain't got to get all the way back to my leader. You know what I'm saying? Because in Islam, good food is good food.
Yes, sir. Yes,
good
sir.
clothes is good clothes. Good thought is good thought. Power is power. And so for me, I just tell young people, follow the dots, cross the T's, dot the I's that your mom and dad or others gave to you. And then after that, use your common sense, because nothing more blessed than common sense. Common sense, those who are super intelligent, they still need people with common sense to be around them. Because when people are super intelligent, sometimes they ain't got common sense. They just got, God gifted them with some powerful thinking. But if they don't have common sense people around them, they can't go nowhere. See? So for yourself, young brother, and your colleagues and your co-workers and, your generation of Muslims, I just say that you guys is on the path. You got your marching orders. You got your toolbox. You got the behavior. You got the example. God blessed you in the 21st century to be living in America, the country of the highest level of industrial performance in the world.
Yes, sir.
And if anybody want to know, if anybody want to say, well, how can you say that, Shayk? Well, because I've been to 137 countries. So if I found a country that had a higher level of industrial performance, a better constitutional structure to live under, okay, better access to resources and all that for me to become excellent or profound in the world today. If I knew there was another country, I would have went there. But guess what? I travel all around the world, but I'm hurried up. I be hurried up to get back to America, because that's the nest that Allah subhanahu. That's where I was hatched in the nest called America. So wherever I'm flying back to my nest. Everybody got to fly back to theirs. And I'm telling young people who live in the United States of America, you are gifted. You are selected. Okay? Anything that's good in the world, America makes it better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any products that you want to sell in the world, most of the transnational corporations, the most profound ones in the world, is American. Whether they selling dog food or whether they selling, whole food, don't matter. They're all transnational, because America Allah gifted America with creativity and power. So when people got power and creativity, you know the world is liking them, even if they selling garbage. The world's still gonna like the garbage that they package. So I'm thankful and grateful, brother. And when my daughter said to me that as a young Muslim, he has a podcast and he want to have a little conversation with us, I was like happy as I could be. I'm just and so thank you. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying to see because you the third gen. You know you the age of my grandchildren.
Mm-mm.
I think so. You know, so like you the Z generation, right?
I'm a millennial. I'm a millennial. So
You a
I'm like,
millennial.
yes, sir.
You're a
Yes,
millennial.
sir. Yes,
Okay, so
sir.
then the next generation, the Z generation. So I'm the baby boomer. Then my daughter is the next generation. Then
Yes,
it's the
sir.
then it's the then it's the millennial. So you how old are you, brother?
40.
Oh no, so okay, so okay. No. All y'all, both y'all millennials. Okay, that's good. May Allah bless you, Akhi. May Allah bless you and
Thank you.
keep you searching, keep you active, keep you inspired. You know what I mean? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have hundreds of young Muslims like yourself who use the technology and put the word out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Shukran and alhamdulillah. Thank you, everyone who is watching all around the world. Now, Sister Amina, I want to ask you first, and thank you, sir, for your great representation. I wanted to ask you, how does it feel? Because the way you called me the other day, you're such a daddy's girl. How does it feel to be so close with your father now, and how did that come about?
You know what? Um, I'm going to reference something. My father said this earlier today just to really feel it on home. You know, when the minister spoke about closing the gap, how we judge a thing before it's time.
Mm,
I
mm,
didn't have the liberty of having my father take me to the masjid often, and because his mission that he had and he believed and what was best for him, and actually it is best for us because I wouldn't be here because of it, is was for him to be able to establish Islam in where he was and everywhere. And because of who Allah made him, I didn't have the gift of having him as my father, the way in the traditional manner. However, the way Allah is, He is so magical. I was gifted with a mother that never spoke ill of him. I was angry that she was us. And I had stepmothers, his wives, who were mothers to me. So when
mm,
I thought my mother wasn't sufficient, I could call, may Allah be pleased with her, my mother Belkey. So I could call my mother Nadia. I could call, I had these resources, but I didn't know at the time that Allah was creating something. And so now that I'm where I am in my life, I realize that what I have to impart to anyone coming behind me in pain, with bitterness, with what they think is abandonment, is be patient. Like Allah is in the lab. And it don't feel good. Listen, if you watch any of those scientist movies, a real good science experiment, you got to throw it away a couple times. That's one. Most science experiments that's real good, and it's going to be a real good product, it blows up in the lab.
mm.
So the way of, for me, the way Allah has worked, I didn't have my father physically growing up. I had watched him from afar. Thousands of people. I would go on Facebook and watch how many people in the world 20, 30, 50, 60,000 people just love him. So it wasn't time. And the way Allah designed it, today I know this. My mother was making her transition from this physical earth in 2018. And it was that time that my father just showed up. All I wanted him to do was, Abu, could you say a prayer to my mother? And I'm telling you, my mother was in and out of consciousness. But when he prayed, she woke up. And it
Mm.
was something because as a child, I'm still, this is 6 years ago, but my mother's influence is powerful. A woman's influence with her children as it relates to their father is very, very crucial. And so from the time my mother began to make her transition, my father and I began to have a dialogue. I think a lot, I have to make reference to this as well. I shared this with my father that had it not been for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's example, he is not a prideful and egotistical leader that calls people to himself. Mm. He's a prince. So he says to us, I don't care what your father was. That was who Allah designed for you to come through. Period. I can't replace that. I heard him. I was still upset. He didn't understand my circumstances. My circumstances were special as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna listen to you because I respect you and love you. But And as I began, because of Allah, the way Allah made the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan so transparent, he began to tell the story of how I grew up. So I'm saying to myself, how can I sit and say that I love and admire his walk and the way he is? But he's saying the same thing in that he lived what he knew to be the mission and he followed Allah. He followed the messenger's instructions and did that. And so his children didn't have the benefit of that community dad that played ball and dropped you off at ballet and was able to do this, that, and third and have dinners and all that, whatnot. However, look at who he is. And so I was able to mature. It was as if as I was in a waiting room emotionally. And I was able to now sit with the benefit of allowing my father to come in and be my father. And at the time, I was 49. Mm. Mm-hmm. Now I could have said, he wasn't here all my life. That ain't been my story. I'm a solution-oriented individual. At this point, I'm losing my mother. I don't know what this is like. This is strange. And the only thing I know is that the next thing I'm telling you, the night that my mother made her transition, Allah used my father. Because I'm telling you, rarely did he ever pick up his phone. Because he all over the world saving the whole world. All right. Well, this particular night, all right. I called and he picked up. I said, Abu, my mother made a transition. He said, Allahu Akbar. And from the time I left Columbia, South Carolina, the hospital, till I got to Charlotte, North Carolina, my father, I can't even tell you what the conversation was, but I know that he stayed on the phone with me till I got home that 2 hours. And from there, we've been developing a very honorable and respectful relationship. I had to ask honest questions, and we had honest dialogue, and we appreciate what Allah has blessed us with. And like my father always says, the mechanics, we put us to the side, but the principle is, I have you, you have me, we have Islam. And so I can say that because I obeyed Allah and I stayed in the waiting room with my pain, using the tools that were given to me, I had an amazing and a magical relationship with my father that I can appreciate who he is and what appears to be a difference, but there's no difference.
Mm. Inshallah. Yes, sir. Beautiful, beautiful. Alhamdulillah. People showing you all love all around the world. Thank you all. And thank you for your transparency and coming to represent father, daughter, the Ummah family. This is beautiful. Thank you, everyone who was showing love. Praise be to Allah. Alhamdulillah. All right, look, I'm just reading some of the comments. Walaikum salam. Thank you all very much for everybody who is showing love. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Walaikum salam, Sis Naima. Walaikum salam. Okay, that. Good teaching, Sister Cassandra says that. Under leadership, accountable, everything. Teach, brother. Walaikum salam. Thank you very much, Mimi. Thank you, everyone who's saying praise be to Allah, to the family. Yes, sir. Ma'am?
I said, give your father the greetings.
Oh, yes, ma'am, I will.
Really about your father. Just again, I would pray that if we take the guidance of, the elders, the wise wisdom and experience, really it will get us through this dark time. I bear witness to that because we have. If my father said something earlier, and I said to him, I wanted him to say it, that if we continue to dismiss each other in the process, what do we have? We really are all we have. Really, we all we have. He said to me something a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but it was to the effect about the Muslim community. It really doesn't matter where, what you look like. The fact that we are Muslim, the enemy, that's all he sees is that we're Muslims. So while we're dividing each other up and slicing each other up and set tripping with each other, the enemy only sees Islam. So now you're pointing yourself off. I say the same thing in our relationships as children of leaders. I don't discount the fact that it's painful not having what you thought you needed. However, what I do see is what I thought I needed more now than I've ever had. That is what I'm saying. That what I needed as a young woman, I said this to my father, and I shared this with you, that what made me so excited when I called you was I said to him, every time he comes to visit my family, we are better than he found us. He would give some kind of wisdom that everybody's been saying it, but the way he said it was like, it just sealed it. Listen, he said, babe, you got to stop expecting you from people and take what you can and be good with it. You cannot expect someone to give you what they do not have. You will always end up disappointed. Now, I used to hear this. It wasn't until my father said it again that I really began to practice. It's true. They don't have it. And every time I think they have, it's what I thought. But they really don't have it. It's like asking you for $50,000 and you really don't have it, but I said you had it. That is the analogy that I made to myself when I ask people for things that they can't do. If a person isn't patient, they're not patient. Don't ask them to be patient. If a person you know is financially insecure, don't ask them to budget your money. Take responsibility for that. And ultimately, as he always bring in the peace, he always says, listen, Allah will always balance. It's almost like balance the books. Whatever you believe you lacking, what does that go to? What we learn in our classes, that you make Allah sufficient for you. And he will be sufficient. And he is sufficient, always has been. But it's wanting more. So I'm grateful.
I'm doing right. Yes, ma'am. And people are bearing witness all around the world. Thank you all very much to our YouTube family as well. I want to ask you, really, ma'am, Shayk Khalid Yasin, you said you traveled to 137 countries. What was your favorite country and why, sir?
My favorite country is the United States of America.
Okay.
Now I want to make it clear. I mean, I've been to some exotic places, but exotic and a place where I know that I could arrive to be my best. That's something different. So there are many beautiful places in the Muslim world. There are many places in the world with different topography, geography, different atmosphere, different cultures, flavors, foods, experiences, and all of that. Then after you get to traveling, you find out, that a bed is a bed, a shower is a shower, and a plate of food, you understand me, is a plate of food, and you ain't gonna get nothing better than that. Okay. However, I can say that every place that I went, Allah, He gave me some different experience. And so because now I have been to 137 countries, and I wasn't there as a tourist or a terrorist. I was there as a person traveling to do business or to engage in some kind of dialogue to become more educated and all of that there. But what I can say is that along the way, I realized that when I was talking with people who had not traveled and went anywhere, they might have a local view if they're fortunate. A local view, their town, their village, their city, and maybe even, sometimes it's a little bit unusual to find that somebody knows about a city outside of their city, or people really know their whole state where they're at in the United States of America. Hardly anyone gets beyond that unless they're in politics, they're in industry, they're in business. But for me, about 20 years ago, I didn't realize, maybe 30 years ago, I realized that one of the things that Allah blessed me with when I sat down with people is that I had a worldview. I had a view of the world, not from books, not from what watching the news or from what somebody else said, or I met people from around the world, but I developed a world view. So now I clearly have an understanding of the world. And
Mm,
I don't mean the continents. I don't mean just cities or countries or those that are members of the United Nations. I don't mean that. I mean now I can categorize countries into various levels of constitutional freedom.
Mm.
Out of 192 countries or member countries in the United Nations, there's only 26 that have anything near what we have in terms of constitutional freedom.
mm.
Second thing is that there's maybe only 12 that have the level of production that we have to make
Mm.
choices of what we want to buy, what we want to do, the level of things that we want to use, sophistication, the roads, all only 12. Okay, so so because I have this world view, I'm able to appreciate more where I am as opposed to places that I have been to. I don't prefer to be in anywhere in the world to practice Islam, to preach Islam, to teach Islam, to do business, to live, build my family. America is my base. And any place else I'm going to, I'm just going there to do some business. It might be to visit or to stay for a small amount of time. But the place that I'm dedicated to make a change is United States of America, because this is where the majority of my family, most of my family, most of my friends, most of my close people, most of the investments I've made, and more than likely the place that I'm going to die, I would think and I would hope is going to be inside the United States of America.
Mm.
Mm.
So, in spite of the fact that, when we were climbing out of that hole of ignorance 70 years ago, 70 years ago, because I'm 78. So,
Mm.
like I became a Muslim, what I mean, when at 1965. So I was born, that means I was 19 years old. So when I
Mm.
started climbing out of the hole called America, when I started climbing out of that hole in terms of where we were at, the ditch that they put us in, okay, that might have been like around when I was 10, 11, 12. I started climbing out of that ditch. Okay, so I didn't know much about America. I saw the dark side of America. But at 78 years old, I can't keep blaming America and can't keep blaming the United States of America for because of what happened to me or what happened to us 300 years ago. I keep blaming. That means that I'm not in the light. I ain't got enough light. I'm still talking about the darkness. So I'm thankful and grateful to Allah that I have a worldview. I have a world comparison. I can compare where I am from other places that I've been. I'm grateful to be an American. I'm grateful to be a Muslim. I'm grateful to be an OG. That's what the young people call me.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
grateful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have the experiences that I've had, and I'm grateful also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused me in the last 15 years to start focusing on business. Because
Mm.
whoever in America, young people, I didn't say this to you, but I'm telling young people, after you get your academia together, after you get your skills together, you got a life plan for yourself, you got good leadership, you belong to a community, you got your tools sharpened, you want to do whatever, go into business. Don't even be thinking about training your children for a job. Your parents and their parents, we get enough jobs. We need to be in business for ourselves and we need to give out jobs. That's when we know that we're moving into a different level. That we are providing jobs, not we looking for jobs. So
Mm. Mm.
we are taking the goods and services to another level where we are distributing those. We are making that available. And guess what? That's called business. And it's okay for us to be multi-billionaires. Nothing wrong with that. Especially, that's what I pray for. I pray that somehow, before I die, I meet some multi-billionaires in the United States of America that are functional Muslims. That means that we've arrived. We've really arrived because if we don't have any billionaires, because millionaires not going to do it. A millionaire can help himself and part of his family, but he can't do too much more because a million ain't that much money no more. Okay, now when people live in $500,000 houses, I mean, I don't care even any really that expensive a house could be just a 3-bedroom roachinette, but they still paying 500,000 for it. So a million ain't no money anymore. Although for people who are displaced, dislodged, dysfunctional, disadvantaged, $1 million is still what $1 million is. But today we need to be associated. We need to have it in our peripheral. We need to have it in our right. We can see in our vision on the hill where we can reach out and touch billionaires. And they're not athletes. They're not some of these singers and dancers. They're not actors and actresses. No. These are people that are hardworking, righteous thinkers, builders of human beings and leaders. Then Islam has really arrived in America. And if Islam arrives in America that way, it got to go to the top because we're not drugging, we're not thugging. We ain't drugging, thugging, we ain't fornicating, we ain't doing adultery, we ain't gambling. You know what I'm saying? We ain't sleeping with dogs, and we ain't sleeping, with people, that we ain't supposed to be sleeping with. We're not doing that. We are people that are principled, people that are ethical, people that are principled, people, who love good things, people who do good things, people who are examples, people that influence other people. Then Islam is moving because that's what it's supposed to do. That's what I believe. I believe that this deen, when it is in full force, represented by the correct people, 1/3 of America might become Muslim. Mm. And when I say become Muslim, they ain't got to all be praying 5 times a day of prayers and fans and cat, all that. No, they just love what Islam produces and they become allies. Mm. Right. Just imagine if we had 50 million allies and 10 million Muslims. Mm. Then we're going to make America great. Excuse me, Mr. Trump.
This the OG, make America great again. For real. Yeah. Bring civilization.
Yeah. So we can make a change. And if we make the change in America, then essentially, whoever makes a change in America, when people see America going that direction, the rest of the world is going to listen because they're listening right now. They buy anything that comes from America, good or bad. So young brothers and sisters like yourself that are tech savvy, and willing to sacrifice some of your time and money and energy and all that to do what you're doing right now, brother man, Allah bless you. Keep going.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you all for watching. The people are showing love to you, brother Shayk Khalid Yasin, as well as you, Sister Amina Haqq. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to all the people who send anonymous cash apps. Thank you. We truly appreciate it. We're coming right back to our 2 illustrious guests. One moment. We are live with the People's Podcast. Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. All right. And please let us know which city you all are watching. And if you have any guest suggestions, by all means, put them in the comments or reach out to me personally. To you, Sister Amina, I wrote a book called No Father, No Excuse because my father was traveling just like your father was to many countries. And of course, he made Hajj and he was gone for a lot of my childhood. And now me and my father are very close. And, we toned after all these years. Man, I talk to my dad every day and it brings a peace. It brings me peace, to be able to speak to my father. And I'm grateful. And somebody put in the comments they wish they had 5 more minutes with their father. Thank you, Brother Derek, for saying that. People, so it's just beautiful to see the family unit together. What advice would you give to someone who may not be speaking with their father and or their mother about the importance of, man, come on, y'all, life's too short to be having issues with our parents?
I want to acknowledge that people do have experiences. I don't want to have anybody to think that I'm dismissive of that. However, the bigger picture, seeing past your pain, like literally the pain is right here. You can't even see that there's something on the other side. I would encourage them to seek guidance and seek some help. Like, just don't sit in it, because the longer you sit in it, it's like oil, and it settles and it goes nowhere. And the beauty of it is in getting some help to see past the forest and the trees, is that on the other side, if you love where you are, those are for the people who say, I love my life and I love where I'm good. Well, then you wouldn't have been where you are if the Lord didn't make a vessel. I don't care how dirty the vessel is, or tainted, or how raggedy the vessel was. If it was not for the vessel, you would not be here. I'm only talking right now to the people that say, my God, my life is good. I don't need this. Oh, okay. So again, you wouldn't be here. I had to come to terms with that myself. That even in the painful experiences that I've had in my life that are real, that felt real, but they're not real because they're not lifelong. They were just real for the moment. Listen, I'm not 13 no more. I'm not 18. I'm 54 years old looking at double nickel in October. And I thank Almighty God Allah that had it not been for those painful experiences, I would not be here right now. All of them. I still can give, I could call some of the people that caused me pain from my childhood and genuinely wish them the greatest. Because had it not been for Allah using them, I would not be where I am. There are a lot of experiences that at the time, of course, I didn't know that this day would come. So I couldn't see the forest from the trees. I just want to tell somebody, give yourself a break. You ain't got to wake up every day with a resentment. So, like, really, you don't have to. And if you choose not to have anything to do with the people that hurt you, I understand. Then don't say nothing. Most of us will harbor these feelings. So I'm not saying I'm not saying you got to get in touch with the person that violated you. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm asking you to do is go within and ask the Creator to help heal you so that you can see beyond what your physical pain is right now, what your mental pain is, and the anguish that you have. Because we don't have to live like that. Because I'm gonna tell you from my personal experience, because of my resentment with my mother's choices of husbands, it caused me pain with every male member in society, period. If you was light skinned with glasses, in authority, it didn't matter if you was dark skinned, could see real good, you look good. If you was in authority, you was a teacher. I had problems with everybody, and really didn't know why until we started getting into this Dianetics and really start breaking it down. Like, the real problem was my mentality. It was my perception of reality. So instead of me directing my disappointment to Khalid Yasin, every male minister, and you all know who you are, called absolute hell. And so as I started getting into Dianetics, I realized that I owed some amends. So the same pain that someone caused me, I indirectly caused someone else. How would I tell people I ain't going to see him on Sunday? I don't feel like listening to him on this Sunday. And it has everything to do with the fact that my father saved the whole world and was looking for a savior. But I don't hear nothing that nobody got to say. Listen, that was my stuff. So I know that in this process for me, it was very important, very, very important, even today still. It's a lifelong journey because it comes up, and as it comes up, I got to cut it off. When it comes up, I got to cut it off. Because the bottom line is I'm good just the way I am. And my father is all I need. He was the vessel Allah chose to bring me here. And by Allah's permission, I would not be Muslim had it not been for his sacrifices. I wouldn't want to imagine. Of course, Allah is He's capable of doing anything. But the way He capable, and when He designed it for me is He made Khalid Yasin in particular my father.
Go ahead, go.
And I'm grateful.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
I'm grateful. I'm
Alhamdulillah.
grateful.
It's beautiful. Listen, y'all can make me emotional up here, so I just try to make y'all. That's beautiful to
Listen,
see father and daughter.
we need more love fest in a society where I don't believe that June 15th is Father's Day. Today is Father's Day. Allow me. You're allowing me to give my father flowers while he lives. You understand? I don't want to hear that on this particular Sunday that this European set up for me to do that. I'm gonna say it right now to my father. Thank you. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you for misunderstanding what it was to be a father. Come back and say, babe, this is all I had. Listen, I had nothing to say. I said, well, why didn't you do thus and such? He said, baby, I didn't know. He just took the pen and put it out. What am I saying? I said, what happened when this happened? He said, babe, I just said that. I said, yeah, but you had it for everybody else. It's not really different. And I'm talking about ownership. I'm talking about accountability and responsibility. I'm talking about this is the Million Man March. I exactly did allow me to say how I felt. I was not disrespectful by a long shot because thank a lot for the discipline the Honorable Louis Farrakhan have fortified in us. So I was able to ask questions and everything I said, I'm sorry. So what am I going to do? What am I going to say? Even in my sleep, I'm thinking to myself, what else can I say? There's nothing else to say. He said he didn't know. He didn't know how to be a father. He just happened. Listen, and I'm going to say this because of science. My father became a Muslim and took his Shahada on October the 5th, 1965. I want to know that October 5th, 1993, I was married James. And I married my husband because he reminded me of my father. And so the double-edged sword in that is, I wanted a soldier. I wanted somebody who was dedicated to the minister and the mosque and the mission. And I got just what I asked for. Okay. So when I Sunday after dinner, I said, "Oh, get it." I gotta be okay with that. Another thing is, because I think it's a little girl across the street.
Wait, Sis Amina, sorry, they saying the sound goes out. Sometimes it comes in. Could you like lean forward? Maybe somebody's fingers or something. Could you just?
Thank you. Like here's good.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect.
So one thing I can say that is therapy for my marriage today with my father is this. With my husband, my father represents my husband without James saying anything. I'll have these disappointing feelings that come up and he'll say, baby, listen, he's a good man. I'm saying to myself, what? Not that my husband is a terrible guy by a long shot. Absolutely not. He is absolutely wonderful. However, there are things that my impatience won't allow me to see beyond. That had it not been for my father's experiences, he's helping me to see what a man in a mission looks like. So that as a daughter and a wife, I can accept that and be able to be happy. And I'm talking about happy meaning inside my spirit to know that he is a good man, just like my dad. And he's learning. So he'll say that too. He's like, babe, listen. Hardworking brother. He loves the Allah. He loves the mission. Listen, you're not going to find it. And I say this because it's therapeutic. I honestly, it is good to get maintenance and a tune-up. I love Minister Ishmael. Shout out to Minister Ishmael. But I'm going to be honest with you. Having my father who have walked this walk, and he's able to say to me, babe, believe me when I tell you, James is one of the most character brothers I've ever met in my life. That's a to say. So I know he's not fluffing. So it's life-saving. And it's a mercy from Allah. My father is a mercy from Allah. Inshallah. You know what I mean? So that's what I'll say to anybody that's still going through changes and you don't speak to your parents and your parents did you wrong growing up. I would just ask you to go to Allah and seek the type of help in the universe that will give you an opportunity to be able to heal what's
Excellent, beautiful. and people are bearing witness and showing love all around the world. And Brother Derek, okay, beautiful representation of atonement. Thank you both. Sister Miriam says, thank you both for sharing your very personal and sacred bond and journey with the world. Inshallah, other parents will be inspired to heal the wounds with their family because of your testimony. Sister Naima says, all praise due to Allah, great teachings. Thank you all very much. Okay, excellent. For you, Brother Shayk Khalid Yasin, how important has I heard Sister Mina say, I heard the other mothers who stepped in for her and things of that nature. So you apparently know how important and value love is. What advice would you give to the young men who are looking for love, young people in general, but specifically the young men who are looking for love?
Well, love is abstract. Love is abstract. Love is real, but it's abstract at the same token. And I say to people before you jump into love, uh, determine who your friends are. Everybody needs love, but friendship leads to real love. Love is abstract in the sense that people be looking and shopping for love. People be looking for love, shopping for love, and whatever they run into that simulates love, they embrace it. No, I say to brothers and sisters, first, learn to love yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, it doesn't matter who else to take care of. Have a love about your ideas and your dreams and your vision, and you got to cultivate it because that came from you. Your ideas, your dreams, your plan, your vision. Learn to love that and appreciate that. And after that, build good friendships, reliable friendships, moral friendships, principled friendships, relationships. And some of those relationships will lead to love. But if you're looking for love outside of strong, ethical, progressive relationships, you're looking in the wrong places. That's number one.
Mm.
Second thing, I have a little saying that I pass on to people because it was given to me. And I want to share it in this way. We've been taught growing up by Hollywood or Hollywood or Bollywood or one of those woods. We've been taught something that they call it like about love. And most of what we have learned from the movies or from cinema or from books or what we wrote is somebody else's version of love. And that version of love usually leads to exploitation, or it leads to subordination or
Mm.
subjugation, or you kind of like lose sight of something, or you lose control of yourself. Okay, there's some kind of emotional, crazy, justifiable acts that we do in the name of love. That's not love.
That's right.
No, that's somebody else's characterized as love.
True. That's right.
Okay, so I say build friendships, and then you're going to know love when it comes. If you can build good friendships, you're not going to know love when it comes. And even if you're with someone that you would like to love, or she would like you to love her, or you would like her to love you, first ask yourself, is this person really my friend? If that
Mm.
person only looks like you two are y'all been together or interacting together, you still ain't reached friendship yet? Well, love is very, very distant. Just leave love wherever it is and work on that friendship. Because nobody wants to harm their friend.
That's right.
No one will ever want to harm their friend. So if
Mm.
you start out with friendship, you're going to end up with friendship, even if the relationship comes into a dead end. Because human relationships come into a dead end, and it wasn't nobody's fault. You
Mm.
ran out of time, you ran out of feeling, you ran out of circumstances, you ran out of whatever it was. It didn't mean that's the end of the world. Doesn't mean something that people should be on the other end of the spectrum. No, they left one level of relationship, but they were friends and not going to harm each other. So
Mm.
friendship, healthy relationships, and understand why you befriending somebody, why somebody befriending you. Make sure it's genuine. Make sure it's built on something that's selfless. If you do that, you're going to find out that you're not over expecting relationships to do something that it doesn't have the capacity to produce. Somebody's going to be your friend. They don't have to become your lover. They don't have to become intimate with you. They don't need your passcode. They don't need to send your SIM card, your bank number. They don't need, you don't need to give somebody because on the basis of love or whatever, you just gotta give them everything. No, no one deserves to have access to everything that's sacred to you. Mm. Nobody. Mm. There's certain things in life that are for you. And if you want to trust somebody with it because they're your friend and you know they ain't going to harm you, that's one thing. But you don't just give that up easily to anybody because that's part of what belongs to you that God gave you as a gift. So, young brothers and sisters, don't get taken away, misled, but this issue about love. And don't feel yourself you're by yourself because you didn't fall in love. No, you don't need to fall in love. You need to step up to love. You need to go with love. You need to be in love. You need to make love, but never ever fall. When you fall, that's the wrong position for anything. Nobody need to fall into nothing. That's a romantic romance. The romance version of love. That's romanticism. The romance version of love. That's romanticism. So that's the flowers and Valentine's Day and all other kind of things that people that we've been taught, and we be looking for that in the back of our minds, subjectively, psychosomatically. We looking for the love that we've been told about. No, that ain't the love. Love yourself, love God, love your family. You know what I mean? Love to do good things. Be in love with inspiring things. Be in love with your vision. Be committed. That's real love. And if you pursue the real love, you will, like anybody else, you'll be in the first grade of love, second grade of love, until you get to the high school of love, then you get to the college of love, and you become an undergraduate of love, and you become a PhD on love, then you can say you know love. If you didn't go through it that way, you follow somebody else and learn of love back on it. Anyway. So we ask the love of God to strengthen young people, have their love of God, love themselves, love their community, love their family, love doing good. Okay, to love Islam is to have a good behavior. Whoever loves Islam, they love good behavior. And you can't get bad things from something that's good, and vice versa. You can't get good things from something that's bad. That's right. So be positive minded. That's right. Be constructive minded. Keep your commitment. Be fresh every day. Be fresh for the new day. Be fresh. Yesterday's food ain't good for today. Be fresh, be ready, be prepared. Get all your tools lined up. When you create stuff, do something, be the first one there. And don't make no excuse about being late. Somebody keeps saying, I'm sorry. You're going to become sorry. You keep saying sorry, while you're making excuses, you can't wind up with nothing but sorry. You keep being sorry. So, no, don't be sorry. Be on time. Be better. Be on time, be committed, be about it, be clean, be straightforward, be clean-minded, be progressive, be strong, be attentive, because the world is not going to remember second, third, fourth place. So you came in, you was in the race. You got something, you got a little certificate, but the ones they're going to remember is the ones that came in the first place, the ones that came to win. So we want to be a winner. That's right. Okay, love to win. In every respect that you can, just love to win. And if you win correctly throughout the world, when you die, we know we're going to win then too. You know what I'm saying? Because winners is going to be in the top position on the day of judgment, and winners is going to be in the top position in the world. Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Said, and something that what my father just said as well is that love is duty. Mm-hmm. Love is duty, and that could be anywhere. La ilaha illallah. If you're not tending to your duty, dedicated to your duty, there is no love. And brother, look, I want to just say I want to say this. This is a statement I want to say, which is like it wasn't provoked. It's just something that I think needs to be said. Because people have said and they will say, "Oh, Shayk, well, how do you feel about your daughter and your son-in-law being, in the nation of Islam? So how do you feel about that? See that, like you like a mainstream, Islamic scholar, blah, 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 right? So I know people ain't gonna say that, but I'm gonna say it. You see, look, goodness is goodness. You can't put no other label on goodness except goodness. You can't say 100%. You know, you say total, you say pure, you can say on the money, you can say goodness is goodness. And the Quran says, Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al ihsan. Is there any other reward for good other than good? Is there any other
Mm,
result for good other than good? So
mm,
what I see my daughter and her husband following is goodness. They got good behavior. They have common sense. They got good children. They got a clean house. They got a clean life. You know what I mean? You know, we pray together. So there's some issues come along that we ain't seeing exactly the same. Why? Because people is in a tower together. They could be on the tower, first floor. Somebody could be on the 100th floor. You can't tell me the person on the 100th floor he got the same view as the one that's down on the first floor. You cannot. The one on the 100th floor, he see far further out, but he can't see on the ground. The one who's on the ground floor, he can see the whole ground floor, but he can't see up above the other buildings. So everybody's in this tower called Islam, but all of us got a different view, and we got to be grateful, and we got to be patient, and we got to be tolerant, and we got to be respectful. That's when you know you're mature, that you can respectfully disagree and still appreciate the fact that we all coming from the same source with the same intent. Okay, we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the same things. And I'm so grateful to have come to this conclusion where, you know, I can just move around with Muslim brothers and sisters of different persuasions, and I don't have to be dealing with the smaller issues. I keep my focus on the major issue, and it's enough.
yes, sir.
Leave everybody to their smaller issues and be tolerant, respectful. You know what I'm saying? Everybody come to the table, eat the same food. We ain't got to Yosemite go to the back to the same room, back to the same place. We ain't even got to eat the same dessert or drink the same drink. But we eating basically the same food. And once we start realizing that Allah has blessed us to be Muslims in this place called North America, and it started out for some people in 1930, and here we are in the year 2024, almost 100 years. And look, me and my daughter sitting here as products of that same thinking. Who did that? Allah did.
Yes, he did.
I didn't do it.
That's right.
The Honorable Minister Farrakhan, he didn't do it.
That's right.
You know, but we were part of it being done.
Right.
And we
Mm,
got to be
mm.
grateful. We got to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know what I mean, for how He just blessed us and preserved us and gave to us and nourished us independently on different things and allowed us to pass on what we got to other people. So I got nothing but honor, respect, and love and appreciation for the work of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I got nothing but love and respect, and, you know, something for everything. And guess what? None of us, if we were looked at from the time we came out until the time we died, if everybody that looked at that, none of us would get that much of a card, a grade card. You see something different than me, I see something different than you, but at the end of the day, who's giving out the card? Who's giving out the marks? I ain't giving them out. Allah giving them out. So we thankful and grateful to Allah for somebody who did something good for us, thinking about us, our behavior, change our mind, change our behavior. Then we changed our disposition 100 years ago, and then then 50 years after that, okay, then start changing, you know what I'm saying, our thinking about the world, about our body, about ourselves, and then 100 years later, you see now where the ride at is very little different. That somebody believes somebody's eating fruit, you know what I'm saying, somebody's drinking from the roots, you know what I'm saying, so the whole tree could be consumed. The whole tree. But somebody is only eating from the fruit, and that's all we got. Other people being heated by the wood from the fire. And other people, you know what I'm saying, is getting the benefit, you know what I'm saying, of the leaves. Everybody's getting some benefit from this tree called Islam. And this tree called Islam in America, there ain't no other tree like it in the world.
That's right. That's right.
Islam in America.
That's right.
When we get right, this is Islam for the 21st century.
That's right.
The Africans and all the other people from Eastern Europe and China and all other places that was Muslims and become Muslim, they had their time. We didn't have the time until right now. That's what I want to tell the brothers and sisters that's in the United States of America. Take from wherever you can take from, but guess what? This is our time.
This is our time.
This is our time to show the people what Islam can do where? In the United States of America.
together,
not Africa, but in the United States of America.
Together.
And so, alhamdulillah, now there's over 6,500 masjids, Islamic centers, schools, all that in the United States of America. How did it happen? It happened because different people started chopping wood 100 years ago. Started chopping wood 100 years ago. It's understandable that we have built some things now. You know, so we can somebody chopped the wood, somebody started making the furniture.
Right.
Somebody started making the furniture, people started building houses.
Right.
So the house of Islam has been built.
Allahu Akbar.
But excuse me,
That's right. That's right.
Beautiful. Alhamdulillah. Yes, sir. And brother Shayk Khalid Yasin, I want to say that I look, first of all, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on people's podcast. But I look forward to you, inshallah, meeting you in person. I would love to break bread with you and really just hear more in depth about your travels. And once again, my father who has traveled and many of the brothers, the Muslim men who I've interviewed, you all had the same thing in common. America. I'm like, Dad, how come you ain't want to stay? He talked about the palaces over there. America.
America,
They all
yes.
come back to
And brother,
America.
look, I want to take one step further for you. You know, we could break bread and that'd be great. You know, we could share some good words, but let's find a way to make some money.
Yes, sir.
You see, because the people podcast need money. You know what I mean? You know, because likes and shares and all that is good, but you want likes and shares, and also you need money. I see that, and when you did your little thing, I saw your what you call it, cash app.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So people understand that this ain't free. This
That's
costs
right.
time, this costs energy. We want to get better. We want to be more sophisticated. We don't want just want to have a podcast. We want to have a channel.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
We want to be budgeted, and we don't want just one. We want every state, every major city, there's a podcast.
That's right.
Okay, and we deal with products and services, and you need 20 or 30 sponsors.
Yes, sir.
People that's making money, you help them make money because you're going to bring your people there, and they're going to help you make money. So let's talk about that part too.
Yes, sir. And as Sister Amina Haqq will tell you, you sound very similar to my father.
That's right.
Now, seriously, my dad's like, yeah, bottom line, let's get this business taken care of.
That is funny.
That's right.
And Sister
No,
Amina Haqq, I'm listening, sir.
no. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Now I want to thank you both again, and Sister Amina Haqq, inshallah. Once we meet in person, and I also want to do the interview. I got my equipment is getting better, so we can do an in-person interview where we sit down and go more in depth about his history, your history, sir, but as well as I'll hear about your siblings and just learn more about you all's family and put it on YouTube so the world can, see what Islam has done to us, and for us. So praise be to Allah, alhamdulillah.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
May Allah bless you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And on that positive note, assalamu alaikum. And thank you everyone who's watching. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. Thank you very much.
Assalamu
alaikum.
alaikum.